everybody, this is Tyler, aka GrandLethal16, coming at you with a quick video I wanted to update after EVO. I watched a ton of live streaming of the event, and there was some pretty cool stuff going on around then that I just wanted to give my take on, you know, and get to it. So first and foremost, of course, the Smash Direct just the other day. Simon and Richter Belmont I think is pretty dope. I'm especially pumped because Simon's coming out and they're using the old kind of reminiscent of the old Mario Bros show, the 80s show that had Simon Belmont, who was totally off character in it, but this guy looks just like him. And then Richter looks just like his in-game sprite. He doesn't look like the Dracula X Chronicles one. He looks like the Dracula X or the Rondo Blood style. And I thought that was pretty cool as well. The way they pulled all the moves that Richter had in there and combined them with the weapon that Simon has is a really cool combo. Like, you've got the dive forward, you've got the uppercut, all those different moves. You have all of his weapons, and even his final smash kind of looks like a weapon item crash, so I'm really pumped about that as well. I'm curious, I can't remember 100%, but it looked like from the Smash Direct that Dracula would be either a stage like threat or occurrence, or he'll be an assist trophy, though I'm not sure. I know that Alucard's an assist trophy for sure, but I'm just not sure about Dracula. I'll have to probably go watch it again for like the 5th time, you know, find someone else to watch it with who hasn't seen the video yet. Dark Samus looks pretty cool, you know. I'll be curious to see if they have a Dark Samus style color for Zero Suit, maybe like a Zero Suit with the color combination of the Dark Samus, or if it'll just be Dark Samus and some color schemes or what, we'll get there. Chrom, I'm really happy Chrom is here, even though Lucina's here, so I don't care as much at this point. Chrom was one of my favorite Fire Emblem characters, you know, of the ones that are in there besides Roy, and I'm really pumped that we get to see him and use him. I mean, I know he's the same as Lucina and Marth, but it'll be cool to see him with his falchion and see what he can do. And then King K. Rool. King K. Rool was the biggest surprise. I hadn't been thinking about King K. Rool. I didn't think we'd get him any more than we'd get Waluigi. And so seeing King K. Rool in there, especially with DDD where he's screwing around, and him and Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong all look like they're doing that Dragon Ball style thing with their eyes all sticking out, and just all the funny animation and all the life they're bringing to it was super funny. And then once we got King K. Rool in there, he looked pretty sick. He can sink people in the ground the same way DK can. He'll probably have a meteor slash. He's got the cannonball musket, just like Captain K. Rool had in Diddy Kong's Quest, which was my personal favorite Donkey Kong Country game. I'm pumped there. Can we get Dixie, though? We still need Dixie in this house, man. We've got all the other Kongs for the most part. We've got Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong. If we have King K. Rool, all we need is Dixie, or palette swaps for Donkey Kong to look like some of the other Kongs that are about his size or so. That'd be pretty dope. But yeah, and then let's see. I mean, I think that was it for Smash Brothers. I mean, there's like, I guess there's supposed to be over 100 stages. They're bringing back every stage that's ever been in a Super Smash Bros. With like the Battlefield and Omega version, so that's pretty dope. And then at the end of EVO, I mean, I gotta say this. I know I tweeted out a couple of times, so some of you have probably already seen this, but getting Negan in Tekken 7 is crazy. Once that whistling came on and I heard Jeffrey Dean Morgan's voice, I was freaking out, same as everyone else live. I wonder if how many different moves he'll have with the bat. I'm sure he'll come up and just smack someone in the back of the head when they're on their knees, or beat someone down in his final attack, his special attack. But I'm just curious to see what kinds of things he'll be able to do with it, and how he's going to be able to be competitively viable the same as all the other characters, and you know what his throws will look like if he'll use that bat in them, and you know just how they're going to work out like 30 plus moves in different styles and all these different things for Negan. I mean, I can see some things he can do with a bat, like a poke and an overhead swing and stuff, but what else is he going to have available to him? What'll he have as far as counters? What'll his crouching on the ground attacks be? You know, just all kinds of things. And will he be a pretty fast character? What'll his mix-ups look like? A lot of things. Anyway, that's for another time. What I will give Tekken respect for, though, is they're short of Super Smash Brothers, and in some ways, like maybe MVC3, they're really coming on their own as like a crossover fighting game. They're already the best technical fighter, in my opinion, that I played, but I'm impressed that we're getting, you know, we've got Noctis already from Final Fantasy 15. We've got Akuma from the Street Fighter series. We got Geese Howard, I think it's Geese Howard, from King of Fighters, and now we're getting Negan. I mean, who else is left for them to really add in? I mean, Super Smash Bros. Is killing it with this crossover idea right now, and now they're coming along. But yeah, I mean, all we really had was Super Smash Bros., especially Brawl, and then like Soul Calibur, who've done this. I mean, in some of the other Bandai Namco, like I remember when Lars from Tekken like 5 or 6 was in Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, and that was crazy. Like, they put his Shogun style clothes on, and they had him in the game. But, I mean, what other crossovers are we going to get? I mean, is this going to just make Super Smash Brothers up the ante that much more and put some more crazy stuff in, or are we going to go a different direction? But enough of that about that for now. I'll probably go into some Twitter rants again about all these different crossover opportunities. I mean, because right now I'm thinking, okay, so we could have Negan fighting Akuma. I mean, I can't imagine Negan holding up, but technically in Tekken that could happen. So just something to think about. Can you imagine Akuma getting bodied by Negan? That'd be insane. That'd be insane. Could you imagine Akuma unleashing Fist of Raging Demon, Negan jumping over it, avoiding it, and like laying him out with the baseball bat? Like Akuma getting beaten by a guy with a bat. That's just insane. Anyway, let's move on to Fallout. I wanted to cover on Fallout before I finish up this vid. So Fallout 76, the beta is going to give full game access to anyone who gets beta access. And get this, I guess you'll be able to carry over all or at least some of your progress in the game. So anything, I'm guessing any special items, any inventory you've worked out, any level ups you've gotten for your character, those are going to come through. So everything you get from the second you step out of the shelter 76 is going to be yours in the full game. I really love this idea. I know I've gone on some rants about it before, but I think it's really cool when developers and publishers give people the opportunity to play the game early, but also carry over some of that, some of the rewards they've reaped from getting involved and playing the game to death. So some examples of games that I played that really did that well was Bravely Default and Bravely Second, and then also Pokemon Oris, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. So in Bravely Default, they would let you keep up to, I want to say 30 villagers for like the little side thing where you would get the ability to unlock all these different items and stuff for the village that you'd be working on throughout the game in the background. And then also some starting inventory, I think, for your starting party. It was pretty simple stuff. It's like rod, short sword, iron sword, maybe a staff, and like a rope. So it wasn't super impactful. It wasn't going to break the early game per se, but it was a little benefit, especially in Bravely Default. It was a super big benefit. Mainly just the villagers you could connect through. Connecting with other people 3DSs was the main boon early on in the game. Now, with Pokemon Oris, there was a ton of things you could do. They gave you like a preset party of Pokemon. You could go around, fight some people. You could learn about stuff going on in, what was that, Hoenn? I don't even remember the region anymore. In the third gen, you could learn about all these different things. You could try out the game, see how the game was going to handle compared to the other Gen 7, I want to say it was, Gen 6, the other Gen 6 games that were out at the time. And I really enjoyed it because you got to take over different Mega Evolution ores that Pokemon could use to evolve for new Pokemon. They gave you an opportunity to take things over into the game that you could use from day one competitively, and that really got me invested. I love my RPGs, so I'm used to a grind. I'm used to building up and getting invested in characters, but when I get the opportunity to take things I got from an early grind and take them over into the game, I really appreciate that. So that's something that I really think is a cool idea. I'd love to see, maybe not Fire Emblem, but I'd love to see it in like a Final Fantasy game. I think they've already done it, but I mean, let's say if they ever made a Chrono, maybe that's a ridiculous example. Okay, I got it. If they made a Chrono Trigger remake and they gave you like a little early demo that was just part of like Magus as a kid, like him doing stuff and just little missions he did and some stuff like when he was a kid in his original period from history, and then they let you take that forward, and then maybe you could get like some special weapon for Magus, like I think it was like the Dream Scythe or whatever it was down the road, or Rainbow Scythe, like the Rainbow Scythe or a couple other things, or maybe it would unlock an extra triple tech or something like that. So things that you could benefit overall, but they wouldn't be introduced necessarily too early in the game, besides maybe some extra potions or something, but they would still enhance the game. They'd still give you a reason to get involved, and they'd continue on your progress or interest in the game through it, because I think pre-orders aren't practical. Getting someone motivated to buy a game because they already put a little bit of money down when they can just switch that out isn't as practical as, hey, you know what, I've already got some game data I got from playing this game, not from putting money, but putting effort and getting involved and maybe even being an advocate or an ambassador to this brand or game, and I've already taken it forward. Bam. And then you have a reward all of a sudden. That would be like a way better way to do it, in my opinion. Speaking of pre-orders, I did want to go on to talk about GameStop. So GameStop is canceling their Elite Pro membership program. Sorry, my dog is going crazy. So GameStop is canceling their Elite Pro membership. They, for those of you who don't have it, I don't have it personally right now, but I do have a couple friends who've sworn by it. They say it's pretty good. It costs $30 a year, and it gives you 20% off used game purchases, and it gives you 20% additional when trading in versus the 10% with the normal pro membership. So when you're trading in items, you'd get an additional 20% from whatever the quote was for what each game is valued at. I'm presuming that's for store credit. I don't have someone on hand to verify that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So I guess the rumor is that GameStop is canceling it because investors don't like it, and maybe it doesn't give the sharpest projection, since they could potentially lose money on the front end before they make up profits with the long-term business and the engagement with their strong buyer base. I think investors don't want it in place because it makes them harder to sell, because it gives less concrete projections of where their money will be, what kind of sales they'll do, say this holiday season and throughout. So if investors aren't entirely sure of how viable they are, they might get like lowballed on bids. So I think they're just putting away till they get sold, and then they might bring it back, depending on how whoever buys them or acquires them, however they evaluate the viability of that program. For us, it really sucks, especially because Best Buy had already canceled their Game Club membership in the last year, and then Amazon had decreased their Prime Video game program as well. So there's a lot of things that are going down over there, so that really sucks. Anyway, we have a brand new podcast coming out on Tuesday, The Digital Shinobi. Not the GrandLethal16, though. I am the work starting my own podcast, just the JRPGs All Day podcast. I've already got the website held up, so you can check that out in the near future. But yeah, we'll be talking about Magic the Gathering a little bit. We'll be talking about some D&D, of course, some more Boruto. We've got some other things planned out that Johnny C303 wants to talk about, so stay tuned.